Hello and welcome back. In this lesson, we are going to look at add underscore URL underscore rule. And the two ways we can do that, I will look at both of them. So let's first navigate to our project folder, and I'm going to go into the L20. In this folder, let's create a file app.py, and in this very first case what we'll do is we'll put the view functions and the routes in the same file app.py, and this is something which we have been doing up until now, so nothing new there. So let's get started. From Flask, import Flask and request. So we import these two, then we instantiate the Flask by typing app is equal to Flask in parenthesis underscore underscore name underscore underscore, and then the first thing we are going to do is create a function or a view, and this is going to be, so this is going to def hello, and this just returns, so returns a string hello from add underscore url underscore rule. So that's what this particular view function is about. And then we could write another view function. The second one is handle underscore form, and below this we can write the post, check if it's a post or get, and accordingly we can return a string. So we can check request dot method is equal to, if it's a post method, then what we would like to return is form submitted via post, and if not, then we are going to return this is the form page. There's no form there, but it's just simply going to display that this is the page. So uh, uh, so that's just a easy example to show. Now we are going to use the app.add rule, and we could do that right here. So for this particular view function, we could type app.add underscore url underscore rule, and what we are going to specify here is the following: add underscore url underscore rule, and first we need to specify the rule, then the endpoint, then the view function, and so the basic these three things. So the first rule is we need to specify the page that this will be coming from. So let's say hello, and the endpoint, which is going, we are going to give a name that is different from the name function, name hello for that function above. And so let's say this is called hello endpoint, and we can use hello endpoint anywhere rather than using the word hello to call that function. And finally we specify the name of the function. So these three things are tied together now. So when a user visits the page hello, uh, uh, wherever we use hello endpoint, we'll know that the function that needs to be run is hello. Likewise, we can create another same set of add underscore url underscore rule for the handle form. I'm going to copy this, put that handle form here, and name, we can give this a name. Let's say, let's call this form handler, and this may be coming from the page form. Now for this case we have to specify the methods, because default I think it's only the get method, but we would like to use both, so get and post, so that's what we have. And finally we can use if name is equal to main. If that is the case, then app dot run debug is equal to true. So this is how things are set up. We have a function. So what the different thing that we did differently this time is, rather than saying, hey, this is the function, and above that I'm going to type app.route, and in here I'm going to put the hello, and maybe specify the endpoint is equal to hello endpoint, no, in of course in quotes. So that is what we generally do. So if I were to comment this out now, if you go here and let me save this. If you go here and type python app.py, there is an error. So request method, uh, so request method, request dot method, oh, missing the closing quotations there. Right, and so we run this, you see that the page is running. And now if I go in here and click on hello, you see that we do get the text hello from regular use of app.route. Let's say that. And now when we run this, that's what we have. But the different thing that we are trying to do now is, rather than doing it this way, we said, hey, why don't we instead use app.add url underscore rule. And so now when we do that, again, when we go back to the hello, this time we see that the hello is coming from this function, which is hello from add url rule. So that still works. Just note that this way of writing helps us create a modular code. What I mean by that is, we can create sections of code that do a specific thing, and you can separate that code out. So if it's a larger project, it could be useful. And the second thing is this form, and as you can see, this is we haven't submitted anything, so this is not going to run. But as soon as we reach the form, we load that form page, it does show us the message, this is a form page, which is using the get method. Right, so this is good. Now there is something more we can do here, and for that what I'm going to do is, we are going to put these functions in a separate file. We are going to put the routes in a separate file, and then in the main app.py file, we are just going to uh, leave that file with just for setup. So because we cannot have two files of the same name, I'm going to rename this to something else. Let's say original. And now we'll create another app.py file. We are going to create another file view underscore functions.py, and we are going to create routes.py file. So we created three files: app.py, routes.py, functions.py. So let's start with functions.py. In the functions.py, we can create functions. So this is where all the functions would be uh, kept or stored. Then we said, the first function, let's say home page, and this return welcome to, welcome to the home page. Awesome. Next we have the second function, about, and this returns a string that says this is the about page. And then we have the last function, greet underscore user, and what this does is takes in a username and then returns a string with the username. So hello, so let's say hello, and we specify the username, and that's it. So this is our functions file, view functions file. The next thing we'll do is create our routes.py file, and here we'll say this is so this is where all the routes live or are kept. And for this we'll import. So now here's the deal: because we are going to use the names of these functions, routes needs to know where those are, and because it's going routes are going to call those functions, and therefore we have to import that file here. So from view underscore functions, we are going to import homepage, then about, and then we are going to use the greet user. So we need to import uh, all the three functions that are there. And now here we can create another function, register underscore routes app, and this is going to come from the app.py file. So we say app dot add URL rule, and now you know what we need to type here. It's the same what we just looked at in the previous example. View underscore function is equal to homepage. So we are not using an endpoint here. We are simply using the name of the function to keep it simple. And the second is about, and so for about we are going to put the about function name. Finally, the last one is hello, and here the user puts a name in the browser address bar, and that's what gets sent to the view function to greet the user. So greet user. Awesome. So this is what we have done so far. The next thing is going to the app.py file and tying it all together. So let's say this is the main app.py file, and here we are going to import Flask. So from Flask import Flask, then and then below that we'll say from routes. Now we need to import the routes.py. From routes import register routes. That is the function we need to import, because we are going to call that function from inside of app.py. So here is where we initialize the app is equal to Flask, and we say underscore underscore name underscore underscore, and then we register underscore routes and input this instance. So that will trigger the app routes, and that will trigger the add rule, and that will trigger these view functions, which would return the corresponding values. And to make all that happen, we need sort of a ignition switch for this app, and that's this one. uh, uh, because we run the file directly, we need to type in these lines. If name is equal to main and colon, then we say app.run debug is equal to true. With that, let's go back in our terminal and run python app.py, and we see that this did start. So let's go to the base URL, and as you know, the base URL is this one, which is calling the function homepage, which is this one. So we should see the message welcome to the homepage. So I press enter, and that's what we see. Next, let's go to the about page, and so we type / about, and this calls the function about. We go to the view, and here is the function about. So we should see this is the about page, and so we run that, and that's what we see. Finally, we go to the hello username. So here we simply are going to type hello, type in the username, and now when we press enter, it will call the greet user function, which is in here, greet user, and we should see hello comma username. So hello Nilesh, and that is exactly what we see here. So this is this so in this lesson we looked at not only how to use the add URL uh, add URL rule. I sort of forgot that I add URL rule method, and in the same app.py file, and also like here, or we could use it in separate .py files, and that function helps us talk between multiple files. The key is to use this register routes function in here, that sort of in starts all of these add URL rule functions that we call. So that was it for this video. I hope to see you all in the next video. Please like, share, and subscribe. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please do let me know in the comment section below. Thank you.